Two of the three people currently on set in Studio B will be living it up in Southern California as of tomorrow. I am not one of those people.
Someone's got to hold down the fort, dude.
The other is Jerem Jordan and our first guest, Quincy Lewis, BYU basketball assistant coach. Coach, good to have you back in Studio B.
Hey, good to be here.
How'd you work out the Southern California road trip at the end of January?
Wow. Hey, I'm glad I'm one of the 2 out of the 3 here. It's a little blustery outside right now.
We've got to go to Malibu?
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's snowing outside. It'll be 62, I think, in Malibu Saturday. You have 658 followers on Twitter, but you've never tweeted. Our mission as a show is to provide information for BYU Sports Nation and to get you to tweet. So when are you going to tweet?
I was really tempted a few weeks ago with this team that's up north, but I was restrained.
Okay.
I was restrained. So
Who restrained you?
Probably somebody in the office. I don't know. So they'll come sometime.
We've got a few suggestions.
Yeah, we have some
for your
suggestions.
first tweet.
Give it to me.
Okay. 1, BYU Sports Nation is the greatest show ever? Maybe something like that?
Ooh, yeah, I've thought about that.
If you feel that way. Also,
That one's been tossed out the window.
yeah. Also, something, you're glad I shaved my mustache or something. I don't know.
Did you see the mustache? Did you see it, Quincy?
I did not see.
Yeah. Good for you.
That could have been a point right there.
Okay, let's just get you caught up to date. Jerem had a mustache, and he said he was not going to shave it until BYU lost. So when you beat Gonzaga,
We thought it'd
figured
be a while.
It's going to be here for a while. And so, that was oh, man, it's awesome to win, but we got to stare at that thing again. Here you go.
Monday I got rid of it.
Oh, my goodness, and I wish you would have still had it down.
Me too. I think.
How has it been on staff as your first full season as part of this BYU basketball program?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm working with good guys. Coach Rowe's a great guy to work for, and players are just good guys and obviously good players.
8-0 at home. BYU's been fantastic in the Marriott Center. 2-5 in true road games. What's the difference you're seeing when you guys go away?
I think just our consistency. From a defensive end and occasionally from an offensive end, I think our consistency isn't there. We go to Gonzaga, and I thought we had an excellent defensive game, and then we turn around in Portland and have a mediocre, defensive game. And so we've got to find that level and get there each game.
How do you maintain that type of intensity? Because it kind of just naturally comes in a big game at Gonzaga in the kennel, and you expend so much energy there. How do you get your team ready less than 48 hours again to go and do that again?
It's one of the greatest challenges in athletics. I don't care if you're at a pro level, a high school level, or here at the college level, is you have a great success or a big game, you've got to leave it. I mean, when you walk out of the locker room, you've got to leave it and be ready for your next one. And, boy, I tell you what, it's not easy to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You've been charged with the majority of the defensive kind of prep going into a game?
Yep.
How has that maybe evolved as the season's gone on, where you've gotten to know the personality of the teams and scouted the teams?
I think there's a little bit to do with that, but I think it's even more of really learning and understanding what our guys are good at and capable of, and putting them in those positions. And I think we're continuing to get better with it. And getting to know the league has been important too.
What are some of the strengths that you've seen from your team defensively?
You know what? Right now I think if you look at Ken Palm is kind of a respected service, and last year we ended at rated 160 out of 350. Right now we're right around 105, and so from a long-term perspective, we've made good improvement from where we were last year. From a short-term perspective, I look at it and say we're not where we need to be. We definitely need to get better, and I think defending the three-point line is one of our biggest things right now that needs to improve. I think if we could just come a little bit further, at that aspect right there, we'd be pretty good. But and that's part of getting to know our guys. Our guys, some guys are a little bit quicker getting to the line, and some guys aren't. And we have to make sure we have guys matched up with who they need to be with.
There's been this obvious transition within pro basketball and college basketball where a lot more three-point shots are going up. So is it that defenses are not doing as good a job, or is it just that because there are more three-point shots going up by math, more are going to go in?
Yeah, that's part of it. But you look at the Warriors and how they played, and they play. It's really a spacing game, and your points per possession. When that 3-point shot goes in, I mean that's a bigger deal. It's a bigger deal, and I don't think for the longest time people really understood how big the 3-point shot was. But especially maybe in these last 5 or 6 years, I think you've really seen that and understand that. And the WCC is full of teams that really space the floor and have shooters, unlike maybe a Mountain West or some of these other conferences. And so it's even more important for us to get to that line.
How has your relationship changed now that you're a BYU coach with your Lone Peak guys, Nate Austin and Nick Emery?
You know what? Maybe a little bit different because I'm an assistant, now, and now I'm not the heavy as much. I leave that to Coach Rose. But you know what? It's good to maybe not be in that role as much. That's kind of nice because I was always kind of guy getting after them a lot. I still do a little bit, but it's a little bit different role now.
Teams generally set goals before the season, conference championships, and get to the NCAA tournament. In BYU's case, win in the tournament. How much do you revisit those discussions, the big picture ones, with your team during the course of the season?
You try to paint that picture, on a regular basis, not an everyday thing, but by the things that you're doing and what your expectation is of them each day. And by the expectation is, hey, we won at Gonzaga. We believe that we should win it at Gonzaga. We believe that we should turn around and win at Portland, obviously, which we didn't do. But that's an expectation. And what that means is, hey, we should be going to the NCAA tournament.
It's been weird that rankings have just become this irrelevant number in college basketball. It's all about bracketology. It's all about RPI and all this stuff. Do you guys plug into that to kind of figure out, okay, we need to try and win every game, but there's kind of a lot going on outside of that?
You know what? I think as a staff and maybe to a lesser degree, players, we all understand those things. And so that's not necessarily something that we're going to talk about a lot, maybe a little bit. But you have to focus on what you have right in front of you, because if that's not what the focus is, then you're in trouble. You're not going to worry about any of that stuff.
It seems like this team plays well when there is this understanding of, boy, we could really use this win for our resume. They got it last year at Gonzaga in the WCC regular season finale in the Kennel, and then that conversation resurfaced again. Man, BYU really needs this quality road win, and you got it. So could it be a good thing that your team sees some of this stuff?
Yeah, sure. And you look at that trip and you say, boy, if you're going to win one of those two games, you won the right one, because that one really can help you in March. I think you see what our capability as a team is by winning that kind of a game, because it's unlikely that another WCC team will win that game.
Well, it's not like you shot the ball. It was defense. It was defense.
Yeah, and that's maybe what was so ironic about it, because our offense has always been so good, and it continues to be good this year. And our defense is just making progress. It's getting better from where we were last year. But that's how we really did win that game, and we need to do more of that, because we're capable, very capable of doing it.
You will have played 3 home games in a matter of 49 days. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. How can you make sure that you guys are prepared when you go out on the road and not let maybe that affect you in this first half, because you'll come back with a ton of home games?
You know what? To me, it's a real motivator, because if we can be successful this weekend, it really sets up well for us coming here on the back end. And so I think it's kind of exciting. Hey, let's go have some fun and get this thing done this weekend. And 2 teams that have played very well recently.
LMU starts, I believe, 5 brand new players compared to last year's squad. So not a ton of tape on those guys.
Yeah.
Other than this season, what kind of a challenge will LMU present to you tomorrow night?
Boy, they've been Jekyll and Hyde a little bit. They had a pretty decent preseason, and then they started out 0-5 in league, and you kind of wonder, geez, what's going on with these guys? And then they win 2 on the road. They sweep Santa Clara and San Francisco. One of them not even close. And you watch them on tape, and they really shot the ball well, which they hadn't done for most of the season. And so they're playing the best they have all year long. And Pepperdine maybe had struggled through the early part of the season with returning players. And now they're starting to find themselves. So we've got 2 tough games coming up, but it's exciting though. I just look at it and say it's a great opportunity for our team.
How has your perception of the West Coast Conference and maybe these teams when you go visit them on the road changed now that you've been a coach at BYU?
You know what? I think when BYU first got in the WCC, as an outsider looking in, I didn't really understand what that was. But as the more games were played and you watch these teams, you realize, geez, there's a good level of basketball in the WCC. And now being in it, boy, I'll tell you what, each team has some guys. I mean, even you look at Santa Clara, and they got the Brown Ridge kid, and Portland's got a couple of just outstanding players. And I think it's a good brand of basketball. Teams play well together. They're well coached. They're disciplined. It's a heck of a league.
What is the atmosphere like this week in practice, given last week? You get your best win of the season, arguably, and arguably your worst loss of the season less than 48 hours apart. So what has the team practice dynamic been like?
Well, you don't remember Gonzaga too much. You remember what happened in that last one, and and so it's been a little bit ornery maybe for a few days, and as it should be, because that was a great opportunity we let slip away. But like we said, we got 2 games here, and boy, if we can win these games, we're in good shape. We're in good shape right here.
I hope you get some beach time in Malibu at some point. I know you're down there doing a business trip, but at least go see the ocean or something.
Maybe out of my window.
Yeah, take a picture and send it to. That should be your tweet.
That should be my tweet.
Yes.
Just a picture of the beach. No words, just a picture of the beach.
So what that means is I've got to get with Big T or Timmy, and they've got to show me how to tweet.
So you don't even know how to tweet.
Oh, of course not. Did you really think I knew how to tweet?
You're a savvy guy, Quincy. You're a savvy guy.
Not really.
Okay, yes, Terry Nashif. Calling Terry Nashif and Tim Lacombe.
I'll be there to follow up on this, too. It's not like we're going to let you off the hook.
Just a picture of the beautiful beach.
I'll tell you what. We get a couple wins, and I'll have a smile on my face at the beach, and I will tweet.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, that's a deal.
I love that.
Could be Saturday night, could be Sunday. Okay.
That's a good deal. Hey, Coach, thanks for the insight into BYU basketball, and good luck in Southern California.